According to the Secretary of State, there are a number of points you need to understand about Georgia's voting. Number one is that the hand count is mostly done. In fact, Fulton County, the biggest county in the state, most populous county, I should say, is already done. It was able to do it quicker than it took to actually count the votes originally, because this time it didn't have to do the audits, the verification of signatures, the separation of ballots, all that stuff. They just went for it. Georgia, for the first time and beyond Georgia law, Georgia actually verified signatures for absentee ballot applications. The law only requires verification of the ballot signatures. Georgia did a verification of the absentee ballot applications. And the way it verified them was through two sources. One was the driver's license, and the second was voter registration card. It needed to align with all three to get the absentee ballot application in. The applications that were submitted through the Secretary of State's online portal, you could do that for the first time in Georgia. You had to have your driver's license to do it for photo ID purposes, and you had to put in your driver's license number. The application had to have all of that information if you went online, and the ballot was only allowed to be mailed to the address that was on your driver's license. Now, when ballots were returned, the signatures were cross-referenced to three sources. One, the ballot signature had to match the absentee ballot application unless it was done through the portal that requires your driver's license. Two, it was matched to your driver's license in every case, including the ones that came back from the online portal. And three, it was matched to the voter registration card. And then four, instead of having one person who could discard the ballots, you had to have multiple people review any questionable ballot signatures. Once the ballots were approved, they were separated. The ballot comes in an envelope, and that envelope is placed in an envelope where you sign that envelope. The ballots were then pulled out. They were left inside the envelope, the interior envelope, that has no identifying information on it until Election Day. Then they were opened there and separated out to be counted. Once the ballots were approved, they're separated from the envelope that has your signature on it, and you can't reconnect them. You can't tell which ballot goes with which envelope. The time to object to that was actually when they were sorting through this stuff. The Republican complaint now that we need an audit of signatures is a moot point, because the time for them to do that was back when they were doing the ballot challenges. Republicans were given an opportunity, and Republicans declined to pursue that opportunity at the time. That's a big point. The president wants an audit of signatures now. The time to do that audit was earlier, and no one from the president's team complained at the time. Now, the other thing is dead people voting. There have been 4 allegations in Georgia of dead people voting. The most credible was in Roswell, Georgia, the claim of a woman who voted in Roswell, Georgia. It turns out she did not vote. The Secretary of State's office confirms there is no vote registered in that woman's name or any of the other 4 people the Trump campaign said voted. One of the dead people who supposedly voted, it was actually his son, who lives at the same address and has the same name. Contrary to claims about Dominion voting systems, the hand count in Georgia aligns with the machine count, so it couldn't have been hacked. Contrary to the wild claims by Sidney Powell and others, the Georgia hand count, what happens is our machines print out a paper ballot, and you can look to make sure, and on the screen I pushed Donald Trump. On the paper it says Donald Trump. On the screen I pushed David Perdue. On the paper it says David Perdue. On the screen I pushed Kelly Loeffler. On the paper it says Kelly Loeffler. That's on the voter to make sure that their printed ballot aligns. That's the whole purpose. And then that ballot also has a QR code. You slide your paper ballot through a machine. The machine counts the QR code. The conspiracy is that the machine reading the QR code is adding votes to Joe Biden, either through bad programming or a hack. The paper ballots in Georgia match the machine count. In a majority of counties, there are 159 counties in Georgia. In more than 50% of those counties, the hand count and the machine count are identical. No conspiracy, no programming hack, nothing. In almost all the other counties, they're off by a couple of votes, in less than 12 votes. Now, the reason is because either they misscanned a ballot or because the hand count person made a mistake. What they're going to do now is they're going to slide all the ballots through the machines again and do a final recount, get the final number. Now, there were some mistakes in Floyd County, Georgia. A lot of people buzzing about this. They found 2,600 or so extra ballots. The president came out on top with about 800 votes added to what he already had based on this. What happened is in Floyd County, one of the scanners broke. They set the ballots on the scanner. They went to get a new scanner. They came back. They picked up new ballots. They started scanning. They forgot the ballots that they needed to scan that were on top of the broken scanner. Now, you don't add ballots to the pool. All the ballots are held in secure facility. These they had forgotten to scan. They scanned them. It was 2,600 ballots in Floyd County. And the president got some. Now, there are 2 counties in Georgia, Cobb and Gwinnett, that still have disputed ballots that have to be reviewed. In Cobb County, there are 5,000. In Gwinnett County, I think there are 3,000. Those are disputed ballots. They must be audited to be verified they are legitimate from voters. It'll be a bipartisan process. There will be a Republican and a Democrat involved in the process to make sure. Otherwise, the conspiracy theory about Dominion voter systems doesn't apply to Georgia. The paper ballots and the machine count align in more than 50% of counties, perfectly identical. In other counties where there is deviation, it's less than a dozen ballots, either because the machines didn't quite scan them properly or the hand counters made a mistake. More likely it was the machine, given the way the hand counters, you have 2 people in each handling boxes of ballots. The first person picks it up and says 1. The second person says 1 and puts it down. 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7. And both people's count has to match, and they write that down. That's how they do it. So there you have it, dispelling the myths in Georgia. It looks like in Georgia, the hand count, the machine count align, and the hand count shows Joe Biden won Georgia.